5, and I learned from the those that come before me, and so I watched the mic come and go, and so now I'm going to hold it. Just know this, I, as the youngest of 5, also learn lots, and if I get a moment here just to highlight some of the things Gina said, they are absolutely repeated for emphasis. Elections matter. Gina got, I don't know how much of it I should say, it's your story, but I will summarize it this way. The Hays County Historic Commission flushed out a bunch of good board members with Latino descent because they didn't like the message. Gina is asking us for bold leadership to be supported, and I want you to know that before Gina, Anita, Irma, and others came around, the Historic Commission had 0 people that look like you in the history books. 0. These brave, I would say women, but Frank Arredondo is one of the board members. These brave men and women stood up for our history. I knew nothing about it, okay? I will be honest with you every time. I knew nothing about it, but when I met Gina, I had nothing but appreciation for her passion, for her enthusiasm, and her articulate way of capturing and telling the historical facts that we were here before it was Texas. Thank you Anita, thank you Gina, thank you Irma, and those that aren't here, Frank Arredondo, Bobby Gaza Hernandez, and Maria Rocha. Thank you. Just know this, it requires conviction, it requires passion to do these things. Your stories are important. We are all sharing these moments together. We all play different roles. They picked up the mantle of storytellers, and I will, because I became an accidental old Latino, right? Love of God, love of country, hardworking, love of family. I'm a very predictable guy. Thanks to them and their hard work, Sitsi took flight and has managed to do so much. Yes, I got lucky and I got woven in through God's will into its creation, but just know, the real work, the hard work, the daily grind, the museum creation that is now 50% represented by people that look like us, is all because of them. So every chance you get to show up, to participate, to highlight, to share a post, anything you can do for them, just know they are carrying the mantle for all of us. So please give them a round of applause. And my job, I don't want to make you nervous, my job is simply, after giving thanks and praise, because you deserve it, my job is simply to read the coolest proclamation of this day. Proclamation recognizing the contributions made by the Veracruz family in Kyle in Hays County. Whereas the Council for the Indigenous and Tejano Community, SITSI, was established in January 2021 with a mission to elevate the voices of families who have been historically silenced and dismissed. And whereas Kyle, Texas is the home of a long-forgotten cemetery for vaqueros, ranch hands, and those that served in once thriving community located on what was once part of the Nance Ranch not far from the Blanco River, and whereas Pedro Veracruz, one of the vaqueros buried at the cemetery, first came to Texas with Santa Anna's troops during the Battle of the Alamo in 1836 at the age of 11, but being much too young to fight, he guarded the mule trains. And whereas when the Civil War erupted in 1861, Pedro returned to San Antonio with horses for the U.S. military, where he met with future wife, Juana Tejeda. 1844 to 1929. Just think about that, 1929. That's not that long ago. Sorry. They parented 14 children before they formalized their marriage in Hays County on June 17, 1886. And whereas Pedro Veracruz registered his cattle brand with the state of Texas in May of 1865, and whereas after enjoying decades of success in Texas, in 1895, prepared in Spanish his last will and testament, willing his cattle to his wife, Juanita, and their children, Catarina, Maria, Engracia, Salvador, Teresita, Carmen, Pedro Jr., Jesus, Cristobal, and Sixta. Latinos, right? And whereas the descendants of the Veracruz family include families of the De Leon, Castillo, Cisneros, and Candelaria. Families who participated in ranching for many generations as cowboys, ranch hands, and skilled Bronco rodeo riders. And whereas the families described here present only a fraction of the stories about vaqueros, ranch hands, and skilled riders, stock breeders, female landowners, and that have not been fully documented or recognized in the history of Hays County. And whereas the De Leon family, who are descendants of these prominent vaquero families, live less than a mile from the cemetery where they grew up, hearing detailed stories about their ancestors that have passed away from generations. But not until today have their stories been recorded or honored. And whereas Sitsi has made significant strides in preserving Hays County history, absolutely, and after years of research that revealed a long ignored, I repeat, long ignored culture of vaqueros and their customs that created diverse communities, Sitsi has successfully secured an untold historical marker from the Texas Historic Commission honoring the Veracruz family of Kyle. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Hays County Commissioners Court, which I am the chair of, does hereby recognize the contributions of the Veracruz family of Kyle and their descendants who live throughout Hays County. Cordially invite all of the officials, dedications of, and unveiling to this historical marker today, Saturday, March 21st, 2026 at 11 a.m. in Kyle, Texas. Thank you all for allowing me to be a part of this great honor and this historical moment. Thank you, Sitsi.
3.